Hi, good morning, afternoon, and good evening. We have a bunch of people joining us from different countries, 8 countries to be exact. Welcome, thank you so much for joining us as we explore Unlocked Learning presented by the Prince Mohammed bin Salman College. I am Khaira Bindagji, your moderator for today. I'm also a podcaster, entrepreneur, and community builder. It is my absolute pleasure to present to you our panel, Tatiana Vorobyova, finally, Abdulaziz Al-Nawaisar.
Hi, yes, thank you.
And with that, today we're going to cover an experience and the perspective of, we're going to cover the experience from our perspective as students. We're all MBA candidates. We're in the full-time program here at the college, and without further ado, I would love to hear a little bit about you guys, because you are selected to represent how diverse our student body is.
Correct.
Tatiana, can you give us a little info about yourself, culturally, professionally?
Okay, so I come from a very small country in Central Asia called Kyrgyzstan. I was born and raised there, but ethnically I'm Russian. And I'm married to a Turkish guy, so I'm culturally very diverse and let's say multicultural. I would say that my home country is now 3 countries, Russia, Kyrgyzstan, and Turkey. I have 2 kids, so I'm a passionate mother, and I joined this program to unlock entrepreneur in me. So before that, I was doing corporate career as a lawyer. Very boring.
Not boring. I've worked with you in student teams. It is very, very good as far as the skill set goes.
So you see, this is what I always felt in me, that even though I'm, a lawyer and supposed to be, very serious and boring, there is something else, yes, in me that needs to be unlocked, and this is why I'm here in this college, and so far it's going good.
That's good. I'm really glad to hear that. Okay, so yeah, my name is Abdulaziz Al-Nawaisar, as you said. But in short, Aziz works perfectly.
Okay.
I went to the University of San Francisco. I studied there, basically. That's what I did.
That's good.
Yeah, and then after I studied marketing, and after I graduated, I worked for 2 years in Silicon Valley and tech companies. Some of the companies went public, so I'm really happy that I experienced some of them. After I finished, I went back to Jeddah. Oh, I'm from Jeddah, by the way. Yeah. So yeah, I went back to Jeddah, started my own company while working with family businesses, and now I am in MBSC.
And that's a marketing company.
I started a marketing company, yes, but slightly it started to turn into a technology company over time because of life,
Yeah.
So that's what happened, and the family business is mainly in training in health in the health field. So that's what I did, and now I'm here in order to start my own new experience, which is Midpoint.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So Tatiana and Aziz, if you guys have any questions during our conversation, we are taking them live. Feel free to ask your questions, because now you know who to ask. So I guess even before that, I'm hearing from you guys that you were passionate about something, or there was something more that you wanted to achieve. What are your passions?
Who do you want to start with?
Anyone?
Okay,
Who is the more passionate?
So in general, I was always fascinated about marketing because it's a really huge, it's a huge umbrella, Research is under it, innovation is under it. So that was my passion when I was in college, back in college. In San Francisco, I experienced technology companies. All the companies in Silicon Valley, real innovation and breakthroughs. So that became a thing that I live with every day. Hence it became my interest, So basically technology and innovation is my absolute interest at the moment. And philosophy, I like philosophy. Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I did not.
Now you know.
Just learned something new about you.
We should do more webinars.
Tatiana, what passions do you have?
Well, I love learning. All my life I'm learning something and somewhere, and every 5 years I have this, unresistible urge to join the educational institution, and that's probably why I ended up here at this age after being already a long time in the profession. And aside from that, I'm very interested in seeing in young adults how they develop self-confidence and how they develop the mindset that will make them think that they can achieve anything they want, that they're not limited to the only university they have in town, or they're not limited to only the way that family is, you know, let's say everybody's doctor, then I have to be a doctor. So how they discover that actually they're not limited by external world, they are only limited by what's inside. So, and that's why I'm starting my project here on skills building, on finding this, you know, inner self and bringing it to the future.
And so this is so cool that you had this idea, and it fits with the program very well. That's why you wanted to pursue your MBAs. What about here exactly? When it comes to the location, we're talking about Prince Mohammed bin Salman College. We're going to refer to it as MBSC, just for the sake of making it faster to say. We are here in King Abdullah Economic City, a very new city. A city that is so new that there isn't the type of population that you would expect from a college town. What have you found so far that's been unique? We've all only been here for 4 months. That's how new the program is.
Actually, I'm here almost for 2 years now. Yeah. Yeah. So let me start as a, you know, the oldest resident. Ever since I came, the main feeling I get from this place, it's very tranquil, very calm, very beautiful. It has Red Sea, you know, seen from almost everywhere. Very you know, shiny blue, amazing to me. Community is small, but very interesting, very diverse. You can find people from, I don't know how many countries, maybe like 50 countries here in this city. And because community is small, it is much closer to people are much closer to each other than in big cities. That's at least what I experience. So there are a lot of things that ladies do together, you know, kids do together. So this is really nice community feeling that we have here. Well, I guess also we should speak about that city is positioning itself as city of the future. So there are, you know, some technological stuff that we are seeing. So, you know, such as mobile application for discovering the city, you know, customer care, automated, all this kind of modern city stuff. You know, we all have it as well.
Yeah, and what about the relationship of the college being here? What do you think? Has there been anything significant that we gain as students by being inside the economic city?
Well, probably we did, because we will have better connection to economic city authorities, who will, you know, basically well positioned to help any of the ventures of students to be registered and succeed. That's one of the things. And also, well, to me personally, it just gives this atmosphere. You know, there is no traffic, there is no, you know, endless meetings, because city is small and calm. So it's not this megapolis stress on you. So basically you can focus, you can, you know, really find your peace of mind, concentrate on what you're doing. Well, to me it's like that. Even though I have 2 naughty kids at home, I still have, you know, piece of this feeling with me. Probably you have more of tranquility.
I feel that way for sure.
Yeah, for me personally, I think the city is, as you mentioned, very calm, relaxing. So usually during the week, you're so hectic with studying and projects and all the good stuff, you know. But at the same time, when you go home at the night, it's comfortable. It's comfortable. It's just you're alone. You're really alone.
I do find myself that I do study a lot more here than I ever have in my other.
That's good.
Can I add something that I discovered? Well, in a way, the city transformed me. I'm not a sporty person at all, and when I lived in Moscow, I was a member of a really good, you know, gym, but I hardly ever found time to actually go there to use that membership. And here, I started to cycle in the mornings along the beach. You know, I started to do yoga and going to gym in the building. So
That's
for me, that is something amazing that happened to me.
I have not caught up yet.
Hopefully one day.
See, but I'm here 2 years. You still have, time
So
to
that's
develop
the
that. Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I wanted to add one more thing about the city. I think one of the cool things is that, okay, so the company is the city is managed by multiple like large companies that they're building, and I think it's very cool that, for example, like you're going for dinner or something, and you could actually see one of the management there, and you could start a conversation with him or her.
That has happened a couple of times.
Yeah, so it's cool that you're able to connect with people that usually you wouldn't see in Starbucks and
Definitely not.
somewhere. Yeah, so I think that's cool.
Because they'd be at a different section entirely, and then you have so many guests. But before we get into those specifics, let's talk about your ventures, because when you do meet those people, that's probably what you're going to be pitching to them. So what are your different ventures that you've taken up as your core project in the MBA program?
So let's maybe first talk about why we are doing ventures, right? So
we can say really quickly.
So here at MBSC, every student has to do a project. It can be a business, it can be non-profit, it can be a corporate entrepreneurship project. And this is actually a part of the learning experience here, and this is what makes it very unique, and this is the reason why actually I joined this particular college, because of the opportunity to actually start doing what I want to do during my study. So, and with that said, all of us, the students, have our core project, and mine is focusing, as I mentioned, on alternative education. And what else should I say about it?
Well, tell us about what it is, what you're hoping that it will be. Just a quick summary.
Okay, so I'm now researching how current educational system and infrastructure, how well it provides for building 21st century skills, such as collaboration, teamwork, creativity, innovation, public speaking, all those skills that actually people need when they join work. And I'm finding that in most countries, these skills are not taught from the early age. They only come when people join work. Even at universities, they are not fully developed. So my hope is to develop a system which will help kids from quite early ages to develop these skills that they will actually need in life. And why I'm so fixed on this is because, every day we hear now that world is changing so rapidly. The kids of today, when they graduate from university, they will work, we don't know where. Those jobs do not exist yet. So, and so how can they prepare for something that does not exist? And that only by having confidence, right mindset, and ability to explore, always learn all their life, adjust as life is changing around. And I feel this is very important for my own kids. That's why I want to make it available for many kids.
And just to further contrast this, why this is so interesting to me is that, to put it in context, way back when you got a job, you would get a job at a nice company, you'd stay there for up to 20 years. It was just something very natural, and we've seen in our lifetime now
it's not like that anymore.
It's very, very easy for entry-level people to jump around a year, and and it's just so different.
Yeah, plus machines are getting better and better, so it's replacing some of the human beings. So if you're not offering anything really valuable, a machine can replace you in a second.
Definitely.
So now about midpoint.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so now probably like a month before I joined MBSC, I had an idea of basically, so let me tell you the problem that we're facing. You go to Starbucks, for example, and the person behind you or next to you is a person that you don't know, right? Okay, so what if you knew one piece of information about that person that might let you become his or her friend, partner, co-founder, investor, whatever it is? So for example, I'm in marketing entrepreneurship. I would love to, whenever I go to a restaurant or a coffee shop or a conference, to meet people that have similar interests like me in the same in the same radius. So that's what I did. I created Midpoint, and the concept is find like-minded people nearby. We use interest and GPS in order to connect you with everyone within 30 meters. I don't know what's that in feet, to be honest, but yeah, but like meters, you can do it. Okay, so yeah, that's
what
the
I
main
love
concept.
about that and what comes to mind is, you know, all those movies where the whole point of the movies is two people that should meet, and they meet, but they just keep missing each other.
Because that always happens. Like, think of your best friend or your whatever. Like, think of someone who's very significant in your life at the moment. What if you didn't meet that person? That would suck. So we have that. So Midpoint is trying to solve that problem, and I'm trying my best to do it in a professional way in order for it to become a professional networking tool.
And I like how you're capitalizing on the fact that mainly now, let's be honest, the reason why we won't ever meet people that's next to us is because we're on our phones.
Yeah.
So you're kind of just bringing it back to reality by putting it on our phones.
I just don't have the words. Okay.
So with these great ventures, and I'll just really quickly give a second about my venture as well. I partnered up with, so you partnered up with someone in MBSC. You're handling Midpoint on your own at the moment, and I partnered up with two people outside of MBSC. And my project is called al-tamimi. It's a writing community and literary agency. It just closes a gap that's very big in the region where we don't really have a writing ecosystem yet. So you can think of it as an author incubator. With that said,
I want to join.
I'll bring a session to Cake for sure. So when it comes to all the resources we have at our disposal, we have the Venture Lab. And there's a point as to why I'm saying this. We have the Venture Lab. We have guest speakers. We have student engagement events like movie nights and games and competitions. We have numerous other things that happen on a regular basis. I want to know very specifically, how has your projects been affected by these facilities and events that are being done? Can you remember?
Outside of curriculum, the extra
in any
stuff.
way, like anything, what from these things affected your business in a way that probably you wouldn't have gotten that insight or that connection if you were outside of the college?
You remember yesterday we were talking about Silicon Valley venture capitalist?
Oh yes, yes. He came by to set up the picture for everybody.
So we had a visit from a very cool Silicon Valley venture capital firm here at the campus. They came to talk to us, and I just spoke very briefly about my project. And one of the capitalists, venture capitalists, who seemed to be excited about it and said, "Well, yeah, I also shared this passion for education and technology and blend of it." And actually, he just replied to my email offering really great resources and offering to talk and to continue, you know.
Is that Dr. O?
Yeah.
Dr. Sam?
Yeah. So
amazing.
Just this night.
Just to give you guys context, this is a venture capitalist who was part of the first investors of Cisco.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal, yeah. And through my friend Kyra here, I have met wonderful people who actually helped me shape ideas, because some of the hypotheses I had in mind when I started were totally wrong.
Oh.
Yeah.
Totally wrong.
Totally wrong. Like, I was thinking that, you know, all parents, you know, think that kids should develop this 21st century skills, and this is just by default. But in fact, when I met with a lot of educators, parents are fixed on grades. So
So you have to focus on that as well.
I need to have different approach, not to scare them away.
Yes, because they probably don't know, because while they were looking for jobs, it was that 20-year long thing. And I'm sorry, I'm going to correct myself. He was an early investor of Oracle, not Cisco.
Yes, Oracle. True.
So what about you?
Okay, so for me, basically, I live here, you know, like in this building. I spend most of my day here.
And just to take a step back, we are actually inside the college right now.
Yes.
So that's that's the building that is meant.
So yeah, for me, I think other than the classes, of course, the fact that so all of us are either entrepreneurs by default or we're learning how to become entrepreneurs. And what I love about this is that we're on fire all the time. Yeah, and really, that's something I really like. I call you at 9, at 10, whatever, like all the time.
We have had. I remember even the time when we were sending in the economics project. We were here at midnight.
Yeah,
easily.
And really, I'm being totally honest. It's just it's fun to be surrounded by people that really share the same fire as you. So for example, you're very interested in the writing area and like the publishing and education, technology, different industries, but I need your brains, you know what I mean? Like if I spoke to you about a specific, so I think that the networking of us,
the students. Do you have an example?
What do you, yeah, of course. Like
what affected midpoint from all of the different things that we've done together?
The facts, the comments that you guys gave me are actual comments, you know what I mean? It's not like you're not looking at the app and telling me, oh, that looks good. Like really, I don't need that. I want someone who's just trashing everything that I did in order for me to like improve. So that's what I've experienced from all the students
here. I do remember a very specific example. I remember when I was using the app, and of course it's a Radius app, so we're all exposed to each other. And I remember that when I was testing out the app, there was a feeling of openness where I didn't have to be like, oh, Aziz, this is nice. No, I actually sent in feedback and I was like, hey, you need to fix this and this. And since I have a computer science background, it just like added to.
So that's something I really appreciate. That's number one. Another thing, it's also about the people, okay? So, for example, the Babson cell, the people who are coming to visit the school, the fact that you can be intimate in like an intimate room where you can ask them questions and they would tell you stuff. Okay, remember that guy who came from Schlumberger?
Yes, I do.
He said something that until now it's like in my head, and whenever I work, I remember that. He said, don't fall in love with your idea. I still like go with that, even though I love my idea.
Stretch that out
I think we still struggle with that, right?
So basically, you think you have a good idea.
Yes.
Hence, you create a product based on that idea.
And based on the assumptions.
Yeah, based on a lot of assumptions. So after you do it, you spent like 6 months or a year on that. But in reality, it's a good idea in your head, but no one in the world wants it. You know? So don't fall in love with it and enable yourself to adjust it as you go. And that's really what, for example, Amal, the manager of the Babson cell is. Yeah. Amazing work. Like every time, whenever I do something, she tells me that, okay, you're not an app, you're a company. Think of the business itself. The app could be the glasses one day, it could be a watch, it could be, you know what I mean? So don't focus on the app itself, focus on the business, how to operate. So yeah.
These are such great examples of just how the people that are placed in the college for various purposes, how much we can gain from them depending on how much of a fit they are, but even when it comes to people who are so far removed from our projects and getting their insights as to, you know, what does the other side think, not just people that agree with us. With that said, I'm going to take this opportunity to check in if we have any questions that we should be answering. There is one question from Ahmed Ali. He's asking, what is the minimum GPA required to join us? And for the answer,
we are going to refer.
You need a 3.0 and above GPA, and that's out of 4 because it's following a US system, because we are partnered with Babson in the States and they are doing the audits for our curriculums. We do have other questions coming in. Thank you so much for providing these. Please feel free to do so.
September.
When does the course start, Bayan is asking. So The next intake, we were part of the September 2017 intake. The next one that's coming up is in September 2018. Okay. And while we're getting more questions, I'd love more insight as to, say, there were so many unique things, especially during orientation week. I would love you guys' perspectives. If anything that happened in orientation week, did it change or did it affect you in any way in the projects that you're doing now? Yeah,
Okay,
popcorn
so
style.
yeah, I'm not sure if what I'm about to say will answer your question, but
Everything
But I will
you
say it anyhow. Yeah.
thank you very much.
Everything you say is valid.
So yeah, basically now when we look at the orientation week, I think it was very, it was a very sweet orientation week, to be honest. Why? Because first, it broke the ice between all of us
That is
so
Totally
quick.
true, yeah.
So quick. It was just funny, you know. It was funny to a point where it's with for the second day. I have all the numbers. I know everyone.
Yeah.
We went to al-balad in Jeddah. Like, خلاص,
Oh, yes,
we're
you
done.
did.
Yeah, that, remember?
Yeah.
That was actually on the second day or third day, you know.
Yeah.
So that was something very awesome from the school.
The student engagement office is pretty
Yeah.
awesome in that way.
Yeah,
They're
I would add. I would add to that for me the orientation week was not so much sweet. It was inspirational. It was just so packed with powerful messages all through from the beginning to end that at the end I felt so inspired and I felt like, oh, yes, I can do it.
And set
then,
up your
yeah.
expectation for the standard that was in place.
Yes,
For sure.
for sure.
Because again and again, there's this very intense requirement of standard of being, just making sure that everybody reaches that standard and everybody wants to reach that standard, right? When it comes to unlocked potential, for us to think of our potential as well.
That's true. Khaira.
So Tanya is asking, how is the admission process? It's online. We're fully online. One thing I love, since I have an IT background, is how independent we are of paperwork and in-person things. That probably doesn't reflect well on me, but it is my preference. So we are all online, and any questions, please email the admissions. You can find them at admissions@mbsc.edu.sa, and that link is going to come to you as well in the following email after this webinar takes place. Maybe you were also asking about the admission process generally. The admissions team is also going to send you a lot of information. You can go on the website. There is no shortage of information on the website. When I was doing my application process, it's an intense application in the sense that you need recommendations, you need an essay, and all of that stuff. How did you guys feel about the application process?
I want to share a piece of advice, unwelcome advice.
Unwelcome advice.
I had a feeling that the most important thing is to be authentic. Is to be like interesting you, not just piece of general public. And that's something that I would say, just do that.
That will definitely come in handy because I noticed that, especially, I don't know if you remember, but we met in an open house orientation week. And when you see that there's a lot of people that just want an MBA certificate and they just want, to get by, you're not going to find that here. It's not doing you any favors because that's not the program that's provided here.
And one of the cool things is that in the application, I believe they wanted us to as much as possible, not talk about how great you are as like business and stuff like that. They're not, even though that's the whole point of the program is creating ventures and all, but they want to see how great of a person you are. And really one of the things that impressed me is how the class as a whole, we got along with each other very easily. And I think that was some way affected by the application process. Like they picked people that had similar way of thinking in a way or another, where we were able to chill comfortably with each other.
that everyone was already willing to be open. Even in mine, my essay, there were like 2 full paragraphs, and I kept on going back and forth, and I was emailing everybody, hey, do you think this is too honest? It was 2 full paragraphs talking about how badly I did in my bachelor's.
That's very important. Like I remember a few days ago,
yes.
I met a guy who wants to apply to MBSC, and he was very concerned about what should he write in the personal statement. And I want you guys to understand that you don't have to show that you're if you had a company or started before, you don't have to show that you have a successful company. Even if you failed amazingly, you can write about that. Like I started a company, went amazing, then it failed just beautifully.
Beautifully.
Yeah, and that was my statement.
Yes.
And I'm here now. So so that's the point.
But also don't come in if you don't want to have successful businesses. So going back to the questions, I'm just going to take a moment to see which one we should start with. Great. So, Fatma from Bangladesh is asking, what is the language of instruction? It is fully in English. We are a global institution in Saudi, so even though we, socially, there's a lot of Arabic that goes on. I know that you're also learning Arabic.
Yes, I do, but it's not a big issue. It's not a lot of Arabic going on because we have international students, quite serious body of international students from 9 countries, at the moment. Yes, and actually everything is suited for cohort to be international, and that's why English is the logical choice.
So English is the main language, and until we get the rest of the question coming up, I have so many questions for you guys. I'm going to be very honest. You two, and along with the whole cohort that I've been meeting, every single one of you, I'm like, why isn't this person giving us a talk on their own? We should have a TEDx MBSC where I just enjoy how much content these people have, and we did. We had student-led sessions, if you remember, in a couple of our classes. We had it where instead of the instructor was giving us instruction,
we gave the classes.
Yes.
That was awesome.
What were your feelings both receiving that kind of class from a fellow student and also giving that kind of class?
Oh, I loved it so much.
Which part more?
Well,
I loved the receiving, just being able to see these people from such amazing backgrounds.
Everybody tried so hard, and everybody did amazing job, and content was so nice. It was so relevant. It was just so today, That was, I really enjoyed that.
That's a good word. Exactly.
Today. And I loved also preparing and doing it because I was thinking a lot about, okay, these people are all so smart. What can I, add to them? Because it's not a, easy task. If I was somewhere in high school, that would be easy. Okay, I know more. But here, everybody knows a lot, and in different areas, and
there's more substance.
Whatever you deliver should have real substance.
I remember, and it's funny. I'm thinking about our marketing class and how Aziz gave a talk on technology and marketing. How interesting. And then you ended up with midpoint. I feel like maybe it was in the back of your mind.
Oh, actually, that makes really, the student-led sessions were one of the best things that we experienced so
Were you
far.
surprised at how surprised people were about the facts that you were giving them?
It wasn't about the surprise as much as it was really fulfilling for me to see that few weeks after we gave the session, people will reference the talk that we gave. You know what I mean?
How cool.
Yeah. So, for example, we're talking about.
There was value.
Yeah, exactly. You feel that you did a pretty good talk, and it inspires you to do better presentations and better student-led sessions, and maybe one day like the things that you mentioned, TEDx MBSC and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. So we just got a question from Lema. She's joining us from Jordan, and she wants to apply for a part-time. How many weekends will she need? This is a great question, and I also want to take this opportunity to say how much we interact with the part-timers. Even though we are full-time, On Thursdays, we get to meet all of the part-timers. There are also instances where we can join some of the classes or some of the part-time only talks, if it so fits us. So the answer for your question, Mema, is 16 in a year. So there's 16 weekends in a year, and it's over the course of 2 years. So it's stretched out. We have the exact same curriculum. There's also 2 weeks for summer school. So, and this is also available to you on the website. We are already facing that. There's a great calendar on the website as well that shows the different times that part-timers and full-timers have. And for the summer school, you guys, because this is coming up for us, our 2 weeks has a big possibility of being in the US on the Babson campus. That's what we're aiming for.
I'm excited, yeah.
How have you been finding the taste of Babson here? Do you feel like you're being exposed to it a lot?
Should we say what Babson is?
Oh, right. Yes, please.
So Babson is the leading college, leading MBA on entrepreneurship in the world. And MBC is a partner of that institution. And here we are learning based on the teaching methodology developed by Babson. And that's why it is actually learning, blended with practical application. And
like what we're doing with our actual companies. Yes. But we keep on reporting on those companies.
And basically very limited usual professor lecturing, students listening. That is very rare, I would say, here on the campus situation.
Yeah, well, usually it's us learning from each other. So another question comes in. This one is from Paul.
I want to take that one.
Can you manage school plus work as a part-timer? And do you have time to give to your startup? We can take that question from two different sides.
Yeah.
An existing startup or the startup that we work with in the college. And guess what? Those can be the two things, two of the same. Where if you do have a startup already and you come to the college, then you can use that startup as your main project. Yeah. So let's answer the first question, which is managing school and work as a part-timer.
As a part-timer. See, we are full-timers, so probably our answer will not satisfy you 100%, but we can find an opportunity for you to speak with a real part-timer. But still, I do have some insight on this, because when I started the program, I was...
Oh yes, your project partner is a part-timer.
That is yes, and also myself personally, I was, having family. I was having a job, and I was having a, studying the full-time MBA. And that's something that I wouldn't recommend as of today, because program is intense, and actually, when you start developing your venture, you get very excited and you actually want to spend time on it. So three things mixing together that would not be...
Especially as a full-time student.
Yes, full-time, definitely no.
Yeah.
I talked to many part-timers on how they feel, and basically what they say is also they can manage it. They can find time to do both. Work and be a student. They can manage it, but the program is not easy. The program is as it's supposed to be. This is an MBA program. This is not easy stuff. This is something that requires a lot of energy and a lot of attention.
And I'll also give more context to it. Whenever you want to talk, just raise your hand. Catch my attention. To put more context to it, when people come in the part-time program, they stay in the hotel that is literally connected. Yeah. There's an indoor way of getting into the college from the hotel. They stay the weekend. A lot of the time when you see the part-timers, they are here until very late at night. I don't know if they sleep sometimes. Because it's 3 days of intense learning on those weekends that they come. Yeah. So, do we get legal advice as students for our startups? The very quick answer is yes.
Yes.
We have someone that is provided by the Babson Center of Entrepreneurship. That's what we call the Babson Global Cell. We didn't talk much about this, but Babson Global, when you check them out, we are associated with them, and they handle the side when it comes to the startup. That's why we were mentioning Ammar, which you can learn more about in the Babson Global website. There's a bio of hers and legal advice.
And yes, the school actually provides. For now, we have a lawyer, and he has a team like at the back, but we don't see the team. We see the human, like one lawyer,
which is such a relief. Just dealing with one person.
And he's very experienced and talented, well spoken, and he's here in order to help us. Of course, we met him probably once or twice until now, since as we mentioned, we've been here for 4 months, and we only started working on our projects within the last month or two. So. Yes, the college does offer.
Can I add
legal.
to that?
Yeah.
Also,
very quickly though, because we're running out of time.
Aside from the lawyer in the college who's supporting this, there is Economic City Authority just next door to us who provided to my business very detailed consultation and help on how to register it, and that was very nice.
Yeah, and that's thanks to the really strong connection that MBSC has with the King Abdullah Economic City. So last question, very unfortunately, I've been enjoying my time so much. The last question comes from Wassam. He's saying that he's an expat outside of Saudi. Can he still apply and come to Cake? The answer in big capital letters is yes, completely. Case in point.
And we have several like me.
Yeah, and there were several people that came in from outside where they applied outside. They had never been to Saudi Arabia before.
They came for the college.
They came specifically for the college, and once they were here, they were set up. The accommodation was ready. And it's such a connected community that we ended up taking everybody to Jeddah at different times.
Should we tell them how far is Jeddah? Because I don't think we.
Yeah, please.
Like Jeddah is probably like one of the largest cities in Saudi, and it's 90 minutes away from this exact chair. So in weekends and anytime you can drive and go there. So
and Mecca is very even closer because
the advertisement says that.
Mecca is 55 minutes away from Cape.
Yes,
by train
from a specific door.
Oh, nice. Oh, using the new train. I forgot. We have just changed gates now to the new train station. And the train station, which is called the Haramain train system, it goes between all of these points. Medina is also really close. And then you can fly over to anywhere in the Gulf, which is pretty easy to do. Some come with family, by the way, when we're talking about expats, because we do have a couple of people that fly back and, not a couple, actually anybody with a family flies back and forth, whether they're a full-timer or a part-timer. But there is accommodation for families here. Cake is the type of city to raise your kids, especially in the bigger context of Saudi. It's really friendly. There's like parks.
Very safe.
I personally don't know, so you're the only person who can speak to this experience.
Definitely so. A lot of playgrounds, nice, weather. Part of the year.
To be honest, the nice weather happens 6 months, but it's a glorious 6 months.
And then you have hot weather. City is
hot. It's very hot.
Very hot.
City is very safe. There is this special security forces going around all the time, checking everything. It's gated community, so it's not like anybody from the street here. It's quite a secure place, and that's good for kids.
Thank you guys so much. Just to recap, we are going to be sending all of you guys an email with detailed links. I just want to touch up on a couple of things. On the 14th, MBSC is going to be visiting Jordan. That information will be coming to you as well. And on the 18th, there is an open house where you can have the opportunity to meet us in person, should you wish. You can also ask us anything. I'm going to be personally putting my Twitter and Instagram information, which is public. Feel free to ask any questions. You're also on Twitter. Are you in
Facebook, LinkedIn?
Facebook, LinkedIn, of course. So all of those things are going to be coming up in an email. And without further ado, thank you so much for your time. I hope you found this as being helpful. Anything you guys want to say?
Good luck with application.
We wish you the best and can't wait to have you here.
Yes, thank you so much.
And actually we will meet you because we will be still here.
Oh right, yes. If you come by the September intake, we're going to overlap for about 5 months, I think. Yeah, great, thanks.